So I am Jason Atkins here with PhantomL0rd. We are going to do an AMA. So PhantomL0rd, first question. This one comes from Acromorph. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Where do I see myself in 5 years' time? Probably still screaming at people. Still streaming. I don't think I'm going to be stopping that anytime soon. I constantly go through pretty much, I say, given week, running through a lot of different ideas on how I can improve and what I can do next, just to keep my fans interested in it. Because it's kind of like a show, a show can't draw on the same thing all the time. I remember the first thing I did way back, I used to take a little fluff stalker ball and I would put it underneath me and I'd say I'd have one tit. Why do women have two when you could just have one big one, like, I don't know. So I just always change it up.
Yeah. So you're basically just trying to avoid jumping the shark, I guess.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool beans. Next question. This will be from Sayaris. I apologize if I just butchered the pronunciation of your name. How many people are involved in the PhantomL0rd brand?
Ooh. If that involves the ideas, I do jump a lot of ideas back and forth between my girlfriend, even my family, my parents, my brother. I'd say about actual production stuff, probably just one. And then I have my moderators that help me. In the chat, I don't know how many I have. I have quite a bit, but they help me out a lot. So we have our own Skype channel. So really just one person doing the production and then just me.
Yeah. Big shout out to his mods, by the way. They do an absolutely great job, I've got to say.
Yeah.
And it's a big channel at the end of the day, so yeah, they do a bang up job. So huge shout out to his mods. Question from Glamox. Do you catch yourself sometimes doing the screaming part on purpose, or do you actually express yourself completely naturally?
So the scream, that came from really one time I just got so furiously pissed off at one of my teammates.
It happens.
And the funny thing is, I live in a house that kind of has not really hollow walls, but people can hear me outside. So it eventually was, I had to do it kind of quiet and just show my frustration in other ways, like just rage and chat. But now it's just, I don't give a shit and I just scream on top of my lungs. So it is natural. It is pretty much just me being pissed off.
I was going to say, I don't think it's false. Yeah. From seeing it, yeah, you can genuinely tell.
Yeah.
Let's see, what's the next question I want to ask you?
Although the bad quality of my mic probably makes it sound a little bit worse than it actually is.
Okay, who's got a reasonable question here that isn't about tickling anuses or...
Sometimes.
Here we go. Hey James, was the classic PhantomL0rd scream invented for the stream, or do you game like that when you're not being recorded as well?
Actually, when I'm not being recorded, I'm very focused on the game. I kind of control my rage a little bit more and just vent it through words. But I used to do that, and I'd really make people, I'd say, even more upset at me. But I don't want to get banned or anything like that, right? Who cares? And I have an image. People do kind of look up to me, so I don't want to show the hardcore rage, even though I do sometimes. So it's kind of half and half. But I'd say most of the time when I'm streaming and I'm not streaming, I don't really scream that much. No.
Okay. Here we go. So Snuff asks, hey PL, what were some of the challenges you faced when you first started streaming? Were you looking to become a big-time streamer? Did you expect to become as famous as you are today?
Well, to start that off, I was just a regular player. I actually attended the first Season 1 championship, and the most sort of revered player at the time was Hotshot GG, and of course I was a fan of him too. And he was streaming all the time. I'd watch his stream, and I eventually got to play the game more and more and more, and then got actually good at it. So I was like, okay, well, I'm starting to play with these guys. I play with Hotshot. Yep. Yeah. Might as well start streaming. So I did. As far as what I came into and complications and troubles, back then when XSplit was one everyone used, it was such a pain in the ass to set up because you have to manage it with your computer's strength, power, and then your bandwidth, and then also what people can handle online. But now that it's been out for quite a while streaming, everyone's can handle it. But every time there was an issue with the stream, I would lose it. So that's probably one of the biggest things. And then just getting comfortable with the knowledge of people probably masturbating to me online. So
that's a pretty good feeling. Yeah.
That's
if somebody's touching themselves inappropriately whilst you're streaming, you can be happy, I guess.
Yeah.
So next question, Truth Axel asks, what is the history behind the name PhantomL0rd? I already know the answer to this, but some might not. So
back then, when online gaming was kind of first being a thing, I was with my brother. We had one computer at our household, and he sat down and he was gonna play Counter-Strike for the first time. And so he just was like, "Oh, what can I come up with?" And eventually, our favorite band at the time was Metallica, and of course, I looked up to my brother. So he created "Disposable Hero," which is a song, and I'm like, "Well, you know, what's a good song that I like that has a good name?" And a couple of them were really good names, so I was like, "Oh, PhantomL0rd, Disposable Hero."
You didn't think Master of Puppet or anything like that?
Oh yeah, of course, but it was really strictly just for the name. I was like, that's an awesome name. As far as the zero, when I first started League, someone had the name, so I just put a zero in, and I was like, okay, this works.
So next question, this would be, where's it gone? I already asked that one. We don't want to ask you if we can tickle Uranus. We already know the answer to that. Here we go. Pimp Daddy Nasty asks, since the top 1% all basically know each other, who are your favourite people to play with, and who are those you hate playing against the most?
We'll start with favorites. When I was just a regular player, kind of first coming up there, I used to love playing against Big Fat LP, which is old school Big Fat GG, and then Reginald. Those were my two guys. They were mid laners. I loved like playing similar styles to what they were doing. As far as like who I hate playing against, there isn't really anyone. I guess if it's a jungler that fucking camps my lane, I hate junglers that do that. So that's really the only thing.
Obviously, with the name recognition, do you find that junglers do that?
Of course,
on a regular basis?
Yeah. Just
it's
the
like
fact that
just to get a kill on you.
Yeah. They know I stream, so they can stream snipe me. They know I'm a really aggressive player, so I'm always out past the safe area, and then they just gank me all the time. It irritates the hell out of me. Yeah.
Standard, I guess.
Yeah.
So. What's the next question I can ask? I don't want to ask that Korean one just yet. Here we go. So Zfinities asks, Senor PhantomL0rd, do you sometimes just feel too down, stroke sad to stream, or would you stream anyways? Because you always seem to be happy whenever you're streaming.
Yes, a lot of the reason why I don't stream at like a set schedule or all the time 24/7 like I used to is because it's kind of taken its toll in a way. It's really stressful in its own regards. But yeah, I tend to have noticed that if I'm not happy, like not really into it, having a good time, my viewers won't.
Yeah,
they'll
it shows in the quality of the stream.
Yes, so it actually does take quite a bit for me to, when I'm not doing a good, having a good day, to uplift my spirit, to get into the mood to try and stream. Because it's really for them. I'm not really like playing for myself. Like it used to be just me playing, oh, there are people watching, but now it's me for them. I stream for them.
It seems more like a profession now as opposed to basically a hobby, I suppose. So.
Yeah.
Let's see what we've got here. Less of a, this comes in from Gravenscar. Less of a question and more of a request. Donga Dash was hella hilarious, and I was hoping you might do a few rounds in the new Earth game mode. Would that be possible?
Yeah, that's definitely something I could do. Actually, I haven't played the new game mode yet, but I've heard a lot about it because I was traveling here when it got released.
It's nuts.
But I've been meaning to, kind of what I said at the first question, I like to keep things interesting. So I was doing it for a lot in one period, and then I just kind of wanted to change of pace. So I plan to do it again soon. So yeah, I definitely will.
So Venues Low asks, are you planning to play competitive LCS someday?
No, the pro scene it's not for me. In terms of lifestyle, I like to wake up whenever I want to. I like to set my own schedule, do whatever I want to, and people know that because I stream crazy hours. I did it. It was originally my dream. I wanted to feel it and sort of be there on stage and have people screaming at you and stuff. But the demand is just, realistically, I can't compete with the other people out there. You have the Koreans that are 12 hours a day training minimum. Yeah. That's just, I can't physically do that. When I stopped, I kind of had a little bit of a bad experience. So that combined with the fact that I'm just admitting I can't compete is why I have no interest in LCS. And honestly, my job is, I think, better than theirs.
Yeah, well, I mean, plus you're beholden to 4 other people as well at that point. You have to work your schedule around other people, of course.
Yep. Yeah.
So Danaru asks, how does it feel to have an official Lee Sin skin based on yourself?
I just saw that yesterday. That's so weird. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a chin strap, but it has the goatee and it has the aviators. So I don't know. Like that's SK Telecom 1 skin. That's not mine, but apparently that will be mine. So pretty funny.
So Skrek says, do you still consider becoming a pro something possible? Wouldn't you like to practice hard to become the best, or have the wounds of the past not healed yet? Maybe you've already answered that.
Yeah, to kind of touch on it a bit. Yeah, it is something that I feel people they don't really have a realistic. They don't have realism sort of slap them in the face when they're trying to obtain that goal. And because I was there, you know, I don't like saying it, but I don't think that I could skill-wise compare to the people out there. They're just on a whole nother level. So, you know, I tried it. It tasted a little bit, but that was enough for me. I like making people laugh more.
Yeah, I think it requires the same level of dedication that you have for streaming, but just for practicing. So, yeah. I mean, it obviously would cut into your stream time, and considering that you're so successful at streaming, why would you ever do that? I suppose at this point.
Exactly.
So here we go. Here's the next question. It's Mesmer. Do you have any advice for small-time streamers?
Yeah, consistency is probably the #1 thing. You have to stream every single day, or at least as much as you possibly can. And unfortunately, some people that want to be high top streamers, they can't do that with their lifestyle. That's, you know, again, you're competing against other people. The second thing is they have to understand it's a very saturated market now. There's a lot of people doing it. There's a lot of people who are trying to get up there. You have to pick two categories. You have to, you know, choose if you're going to be entertaining or you're going to be having skill. You can't really do too much of both. You can tap into every now and then, but it really has to, you know, you have to decide on what you want. If you could do both, that's great, but it's really hard to do. And then you have to sort of have a little bit of a sort of advertising in a way to get your name known, and that's really to play with other streamers or other top players. One of the easiest way to do it, if you're a league player, is to you know, climb the ladders, get up there and play with other top players and streamers, and they'll see you playing and they'll be like, who is this person? And then they'll go visit your stream. So that's probably one of the easiest ways to do it. But of course that requires you to be good. Just figure out what your uniqueness is, what you do differently, and then just, you know, perfect that.
So Snoopy Please asks, PhantomL0rd, what is the craziest thing you've performed on stream? Have you, and a secondary question, have you ever considered coaching?
Coaching, yes. Well, to answer that first, I've trained over, I think, 3,000 or 2,500 students on average. I don't count exactly. So I do teach a lot. I do coaching for teams, for individual. I even do classes of 10. It's something I'm really passionate about because I didn't get trained in a really successful way when I was learning things in life, you know, even how to drive by fire, basically. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, well, this was taught to me shitly, you know, I can do that better. So that's kind of the way I see it. As far as, what was the first question? What is the craziest thing I've ever done? Well, probably getting arrested on stream. No. Unfortunately, it wasn't right on stream. I'd say probably the Captain America, where I had my costume on and I danced, showing my ass on stream.
That was pretty cool.
Trying to imitate the Sivir pose, which is almost broke my back. Yeah, that's probably one of the funniest things that comes to my mind.
Yeah, I think that was probably foremost in my mind as well. So.
You're thinking about my ass then?
Well, always, mate, always. Four Frankers asks, why does PhantomL0rd spin his cock all the time?
Oh my god.
You knew that was coming.
Alright, so like, I don't know, like the walrus, I don't know if you've heard about the walrus thing that's on my stream. Like every now and then I just watch YouTube videos online and just, like, it's just the randomest shit. You know how randomness can be funny?
Yeah, Monty Python-esque.
It just doesn't make sense. It's actually a commercial, I think, for McDonald's or something, or one actual, like, large fast food chain, where they had these chickens just dancing, and it just didn't make any fucking sense, and I was just laughing my ass off. So I took a GIF of it, and then whenever I didn't want my camera being shown, I would just paste it there, and then it just became a funny thing that my fan base started laughing about.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically expected now.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think it's one of your trademarks at the end of the day.
Yep.
Let's see if we can find a question that isn't about tickling anuses or why you spin your cock. Ognos asks, here we go, something that's not league related. What is the worst thing you've ever eaten?
Oh, worst thing I've ever eaten. Nothing really comes to mind. Oh, probably when I was in Boy Scouts, I was on I forget the place's name, but I was on a camping trip, and there was a bet to eat some worms. So, of course, I won the bet. But yeah, it was probably some muddy worms is what I had to eat too. So yeah, the first one was easy, and then I was like, all right, no, you got to do it again. So I did it again. It's nasty. I threw up afterwards, of course.
So there was a question about Korean solo queue. Let me find that, because I know you did play quite a bit of it. Where are we? I think there's someone near the top. So here we go. So Blue Pulse asks, as a Korean fan of LoL, I'm reading it the way it's written, by the way, so I apologize for the bad grammar. Watching your streams at the KR server was hilarious and gave me an insight into what KR solo queue was like and the possible skill difference KR may be to NA. Okay, I guess, yeah, make some sense out of that, which proved to be similar. However, I'm more curious of your outside LoL experience of Korea, from the places you visited, foods you ate, and your general view of the country. Could you share your experiences and opinions of the different cultures available in Korea when you visited?
My trip to Korea was, it was sort of I was going for my girlfriend's had a family, like, so it was like a wedding thing over there. So I didn't get to spend that much time actually doing things. I would say half of it was actually streaming, and then half of it was actually just looking around and shopping. I really didn't get to do much. But now that I'm thinking about it, I had goat's tongue. That was probably, I threw up after that. Like, girlfriend and I were like sick. It was just, they recommended it on Yelp or something, like, this place is awesome, traditional. You know. No, I can't adventure that. I would just have normal sushi. But as far as the Korean servers, there's sort of I don't know, it's kind of like a rumor, but as far as like the top 1% of the Korean players, of course, they're extremely good, you know, on a whole nother level. But as far as like the regular casual base from like bronze to platinum, yeah, the same as any other region. I got to platinum in a week, and it was just the same experiences. But of course, all the champion names, how they're all funny and stuff. I was playing Ziggs, and you know, you can't make sense of what they're saying. It was really fun. I'm definitely gonna go back, and I'm actually gonna go back in June. So
we can look forward to more Korean solo queue.
Yes, yeah.
Good stuff. That's what I do. So it's chocolate time, spelled league style. Says, how was your life before full-time streaming? When did you actually start streaming, and how long did it take for you to earn some money from it?
Well, my first job was, I worked retail. I worked at a company called Best Buy, and I worked in the computer department. I got that job because my brother worked there, and I did that for 5 years total. When I was doing this, yeah, one of my friends got divorced, and we would have game nights where he would just come over and hang out, and we'd play this. And because he got divorced, he was always hanging out, like, oh, let's have, you know, parties, let's get together. So we wanted to do something while we play together, so we started playing League, you know, a game we could play each other. And he actually was better than me at the time, even though I'm a gamer at heart. He had more time, you know, because he just went through all that ordeal. And I kind of got jealous of him, so I started playing more and more and more and more, and eventually I climbed up, and then I went to the Season 1 Championship, and then I saw a hotshot. I was like, you know, I want to do this. So then I took that path, and I eventually climbed up the solo queue ladder and started playing. So I really, I'd say probably about 2 to 3 years of playing the game for quite a while. And then eventually, really when I stopped, it was the paychecks were kind of less than what I was earning at retail. But I was loving the job. I was doing it like every day. I was just so into it. So
I think it is the difference between having a career and a job. If you have a career, you never work a day in your life. If you have a job, you're just working from paycheck to paycheck.
I hated retail. It was just lying to customers to try to get the most out of them. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I stopped.
Been there, done that, mate. So I feel your pain on that. Basemaster1337 asks, and he's got 2 questions in fact. What do you typically do when you're not streaming? Is streaming your only job? We've already established this, obviously. Or do you work part-time in the days when you do not stream? And his second part would be, I live on the West Coast as well, and see that you typically stream during those graveyard hours, midnight and on. Does this affect your sleeping habits? And would you say the majority of your viewers during this time are not from the US?
Well, the first question, what I do when I don't stream, a lot of it is trying to get myself in the mindset to stream. Because, you know, like I said earlier, if I'm not in a good mindset, I typically won't stream. I just want to stay happy and, you know, make my fans happy and entertain. So it's kind of just playing other games. Like recently I've been playing a little bit of Diablo 3 off stream, but you know, it's not really, I'm not really doing anything. I'm just kind of just grinding gear and, you know, playing some music. Other than that, it's really just that, hanging out with my girlfriend, and then working on my 2 projects, which is my website and then a Minecraft thing that I've been doing for some time. And the second question, as far as my sleeping schedule, I'm actually quite proud of my sleeping schedule because I can sleep at any time of the day for normal, you know, sleeping hours, and then I'll wake up and I'll just can keep going. But the reason that my sleep is so like messed up is because I'll stream for as long as I can, and then I just sleep then. Yeah. Wake up for whenever I wake up, no alarms, and then just, you know,
smash out as much content as you can, and then just recover, I guess.
But I've been doing this for 5 years or so, so I'm pretty experienced in the whole no sleep or just work.
Okay, lifestyle. So Muffin Sensation with a question. Cool name, by the way. Who is your favorite League of Legends YouTuber stroke personality?
Well, Donkey is probably one of my most favorite because the guy has come up with a lot of unique things that everyone uses. I just love his stuff. I wish he would be more of a kind of guy that would come out and like hang out with people. But you know, he's more like behind the camera and stuff. But his stuff just makes me laugh. Like I can't take it. From the first time I saw him, it was just, you know, this guy is gonna make, and he has. He's exploded. But yeah, I've used a lot of his stuff, referenced here and there, and now everyone has. But yeah, he's probably the number one. And recently, it's probably been Sky. He's a pretty entertaining guy. Yeah, when I'm bored, I'll watch him, and he does the job. He makes me.
So next question, Homer Fagaras asks, how would you rank the skill level of each server's solo queue?
Shit, I can't answer this. I can't answer
bury
this.
yourself whichever way.
I'll just go with this standard and actually, well, obviously Korea, I'd say, would be the top percent. Of course, they are definitely, you know, over everyone else just because of the amount of time, and it's sort of the lifestyle of being extreme pro is, you know, different than how we take it. We sort of go to more of the glamour side of it all, and then that takes away the time from actually playing, practicing. So Korea number one, and I'd say EU and NA are kind of even.
That's going to be controversial. So final question. This one comes from Homer Fragus again. So he asks, what's your girlfriend's take on your stream?
I met her through streaming, so obviously something that's really good. She's probably one of the most important things for me to keep going, because when I do it for so long and I just keep going, because there's a lot of stress in terms of the people that, you know, talk shit and then just want to, you know, get a rise out of you and stuff like that. Exactly. She helps me to reset and then, you know, come back. So yeah, she supports me and even offers me a lot of suggestions, and I don't think I'd be here without her, to be honest.
Basically mutual support, and that's really cool, man. To have that is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
Anyway, that concludes our AMA. PhantomL0rd, thank you for your time, buddy. And
awesome.
hopefully I'll see you around.
All right, dude.